I didn't scam anyone. I didn't fraud anyone. I'm not a scammer. I'm not a fraud. I'm not a grifter. And I'm done tolerating being called that.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Jen and this is Fundie Fridays, and here on my channel I talk about different aspects of Christian fundamentalism, American conservative politics, pop culture, and gay stuff. And today we are kind of getting back to normal. We're doing things a little more traditionally, and we're going to talk about an evangelical influencer, namely Brittany Dawn. Now, you may know her from some of my previous videos. You probably have at least heard of her. She's kind of infamous, right? She's famous for doing something bad. So I'm sure you've heard of Brittany Dawn. And today I'm just going to give you a few updates. We're not doing anything comprehensive. If you want her full biography and life story, go ahead and watch my other videos. And I also encourage you to go check out the plethora of other Brittany Dawn videos there are on YouTube. It seems like the Fundie snark genre has really grown just exponentially since I started covering Brittany Dawn, and I will be the first to admit that I did not invent Brittany Dawn snark. I definitely did not. People have been talking about her for decades. The fitness community has been kind of the first people to start holding her accountable, and then of course when Brittany Dawn pivoted into being evangelical, of course the Fundie snarkers got a hold of her, and now we all live in this big beautiful ecosystem, if you will. Just a lot of people who are hell-bent, in a good way, on keeping this woman accountable and archiving when she does bad things, because it's on a near constant basis. Brittany Dawn's really bad about exaggerating, lying, scamming, grifting. She's got like 100 different little businesses and jobs, and she got sued. There's also the problem of the men she has in her life who, not all of them, but her current man is very violent, and I don't like him at all. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then, of course, her lawsuit, which has now been settled. And we are going to talk about her fostering, because she has fostered a few very young children, babies, and she has done it in a very disgusting and exploitative way. So we're going to talk about all of that today. I want to thank, pretty much anybody who has made content about Brittany, because there's a lot of shit to cover, and I just don't think I can do it anymore, at least not as thoroughly as I used to. It's really hard to keep up with Brittany's everyday bullshit. Same with Girl Defined, Paul and Morgan. I just can't keep up. So I thank all the people on Reddit and YouTube, and pretty sure there's like a huge Twitter community that talks about Brittany Dawn. Just thank you guys for doing the hard work, basically, because I'm just going to come in and give my little 2 cents, and hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully it adds to the conversation, and hopefully we can all, band together to maybe stop this woman. I don't know. But before we dive into all that, here's a word from our sponsor. So I just want to clear the air. Some things have come to the surface. Some things have come to fruition.
I'm gonna stop her right there. She's a little emotional. What my wife is trying to say is that we'd like to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Scentbird, and let you all know that you can use code Fundie to get 55% off of your first month of Scentbird.
Scentbird is the low-cost, beginner-friendly fragrance subscription service that meets the needs of perfume newbies and experts alike.
Each month, Scentbird will send you up to 3 new scent samples, allowing you to test and try them out before committing to a full-size bottle.
Scentbird allows you to try fragrances from some of the top well-known brands to smaller, more niche fragrances, which is great because I have a lot of different lifestyles and aesthetics, and sometimes I need a different scent for each of them. Like, I've been a fitness influencer, I've been an equestrian trainer, and now I'm an evangelical YouTuber.
You can customize your fragrance preferences to be more masculine, or more feminine, or even unisex, like Jen and I. As a godly married couple, we share everything, so that just seemed like the right thing to do.
Each month you get a generous, hefty supply of fragrance, and they even come in these cute little travel cases that can fit in your purse or your fanny pack.
Sorry, she forgot to say they also fit in your backpack too. Now this scent here is Moscow Mule by Juliet Has a Gun, which Moscow Mules were my favorite drink back before I got saved. And now this is my favorite scent. It's light and bright with hints of fresh lime and ginger root that really evoke its tingling tingly alcoholic counterpart.
This next scent is Infinitude by House of Beau. It's a nice classic fragrance. It's spiced and bold, but not overpowering. It has hints of incense, cedarwood, and myrrh, like the stuff they gave to baby Jesus.
Now, normally I wouldn't swear, but this scent is called Fuck Mondays by Confessions of a Rebel. It has hints of apple, citrus, and sandalwood, which really remind me of the snacks my wife gives her horses, which she definitely 100% visits and rides every single day. Now, Jen and I weren't fragrance people before this, but that's the beauty of Scentbird. It makes it easy to dive into the world of fragrance without any prior knowledge. You can even use their handy scent quiz to find fragrances you may have never been introduced to with just a few simple questions.
So I want to thank Scentbird once again for sponsoring today's video. And you...
Hold on. She was about to forget. You can use code Fundie to save 55% off of your first month of Scentbird. And now, back to the video.
Let's see, I got a few little loose ends to tie up here before we talk about like the main bulk of this episode. And I apologize because, you know, I don't know, I've been slacking lately. I haven't committed to watching like all 20 episodes of her podcast, and I haven't watched every single video she's put out, and I haven't spent days researching her on Reddit. It's just really fucking hard. So I don't have all the answers, and I feel like really, I don't know, like incompetent. Like I hear bits and pieces of different things, and then I'm not able to hunt it down. For example, there was something with her lawsuit about she wasn't able to get the right PDFs or something, like she wasn't able to get the legal documents that she was asked to get, and I haven't found something that explains that to me. And like I even googled Brittany Dawn lawsuit PDF, which obviously did not give me what I was looking for. There was some other stuff with James, the unhoused man that Brittany Dawn like exploited. They had this GoFundMe for him, and then there was something about they didn't give him all the money, and I can't really find good information about that. Not saying that that information just doesn't exist, but I just haven't found it. So if you could please fill me in on the comment section, what is going on with the James situation? What was the deal with the PDFs in the lawsuit? And I swear there was some new shit with the horses, but I just can't find it. Like, we know that she neglects her horses, and she like puts up a fight anytime they want to like bring the vet out there because it costs money. I think there was like some drama with she wanted to start a ranch, or she was like gonna move out to a ranch or something, and then that didn't come to fruition or whatever. Like,
There's some things on the surface that have come to fruition.
She was briefly banned on TikTok, and I did post about that on my Instagram. It wasn't for very long, but she, you know, got banned on TikTok, and then she's back now doing the same shit, saying Taylor Swift is demonic one day and then using a Taylor Swift audio the next. She was she was straight up threatening to dox people who were leaving hate comments. Do you even know what that means, Brittany Dawn? Like, are you gonna go say FartClown69 said I hate you, Brittany, and you're gonna go dox this person and find their name, age, address, or were you just gonna read off names of people? Either way, it's fucked up. And also, like, Brittany, if there's one group of people on this earth that you do not want to piss off, it's fucking Redditors. So, like, please. She was mad about, she was like, oh, on Reddit, they have my house blueprints and they have my address and stuff. And then I never saw that shit. Brittany has exposed her own address many times, whether accidentally or on purpose. As for like blueprints of her house, I have no idea what she's talking about. Now, I do believe that she gets harassed, and I do believe that people have shown up at her house, but I have not seen these blueprints. I have not seen this address. The mods of our Brittany Dawn Snark were like, A, what the fuck are you talking about? B, the shit that you're claiming that happened before the sub was even created. And 3, yeah, just try us, bitch. Like, just try to dox these people. God, it's getting me all worked up. Just random little shit. She's on hormone replacement therapy right now, which I'm not judging her for that. I just wanted to point out that she gets super upset about transgender people getting gender affirming care, getting hormones, all the different things that they need, and she's gonna go ahead and brag about getting HRT. And also, like, she vlogged it and she filmed her pill bottles. Yeah, I'm not gonna show the pill bottles, but like, why would you film that? I don't understand. These things probably wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't for Brittany Dawn and her hypocrisy and her self-righteousness and her incessant need to feel like she's better than everybody else, you know? But yeah, also she was like sponsored by this other fitness plan, and she had like a code and she was selling it on TikTok. And I don't know if that's technically illegal because she had some provisions from her lawsuit that said she couldn't sell fitness plans ever again. So I don't know if this is like in that legal gray area, but it was just kind of like the audacity for her to act like this shit is okay when it's not. Oh my God, how did I forget to tell you guys that she was literally sponsored by Focus on the Family? Like, every time I try to give her a chance, she just completely decimates it. Something else that she's talking about a lot right now is her cancellation. I only use quotes there because if she was truly canceled, I wouldn't be seeing her every 5 seconds on social media. She has this series called All the Times I've Been Canceled. Snarkers that have put in more work than me have detailed every, little claim that she's made, backing it up with like facts and or like a completely opposite story that she's told about such and such situation. I don't even know. Like, I don't want to say like I wish there was a better way to do it, because she has to be held accountable. And because of the nature of what she does, the fact that she scammed so many people, the fact that she publicly neglects her animals, the fact that she associates with violent racists, the fact that she just is constantly lying or exaggerating things, and then to couple that with this new shit she's doing with foster care, like, I want to give her credit for helping these kids, and I'm sure she was up late nights feeding them and all that. Like, I'm sure she did work hard, but at the same time, like, it's not her fucking place to be taking photos of these kids, making vlogs, having baby showers. Okay, I know that this was probably just an advertisement that was on the TV behind them. All I see when I look at this photo is popcorn chicken. This is a popcorn chicken party. The second big thing in her life has been becoming a foster parent. And I know that she goes through I think a Christian private fostering system, which I don't know how that works, really. Like I said, she's done baby showers and, nursery tours, and she makes these videos like, we got the call, guys, we're getting our first foster kid. And yes, that's probably exciting for her, but it also represents the fact that a child was removed that night. Definitely not a fun and exciting day for the child, So this next clip isn't necessarily what I was talking about, but it is related. I was looking for a clip to demonstrate my point, and I found this one where she was vlogging before and after getting a call about a placement, and she goes to Starbucks and she's making a vlog about this situation. And when she goes to order, she's recording herself for her story, for her Instagram story, and she accidentally clicks her own story, and you can hear her own voice playing back going, okay, I just got a call, we're getting a foster placement, which reminded me that she was live, like, blogging this shit as it was happening. She didn't even get off the phone call with her caseworker before she started talking about it on Instagram. So not only is that, selfish, but that is so fucking dangerous. Like, you're not even supposed to post on social media when you go on vacation because of robbers. And here you are broadcasting that you are going to have a very vulnerable baby in your care within hours. How irresponsible is this? And it's like, lady, you're yelling at everybody about using you for clout. You're using these children for clout, and it's disgusting. And you can't even help but to vlog it the whole time. Like, can you take care of the child first before fucking picking up the camera? Like, this is so disgusting to me.
Hi, could I just get a medium drip coffee?
She certainly didn't need to show their feet and their hands and the back of their head. And I know that's, like, technically not showing them, but, like, I am like Katya. I think that children should be referred to off screen.
I really think that children should not be allowed in movies.
Who should play them?
None. No children.
Adults?
They could be referred to off screen.
What I'm trying to say is it is wholly inappropriate for her to be sharing any information about these kids. And if she didn't want the flack, if she didn't want the criticism, she would stop fucking filming. She cannot. It is like a compulsion to her to have this attention. Stop it. If you want to truly care for these children, if you want to provide a stable, loving home for them temporarily, then you need to just do that and stop filming it. She also fucking made a post where she was talking about the medical history of this child, going into great detail about what they had. And I'm not even going to show you the picture. I'm not even going to censor it because the whole damn thing is inappropriate. It should not exist. This content should not be out there. She also made a video where she was talking about, I'm not even going to show my dogs anymore because you people always have a comment. Yes, we are going to always make a comment because of the neglected horses and the dog that your husband shot, but really you're going to say, I'm not going to show the dogs anymore. Why are you showing children then? Why are you showing that?
See your dogs anymore. My animals are none of your business. My horses are none of your business. If you see them, great. If I decide to post them, great. I now keep our dogs so private because the internet has completely destroyed any chance of me ever sharing them online again.
So probably the only thing that I have that's like proof that she was negligent, because, you know, we don't see her 24 hours a day. She was making a simmer pot, essentially. She called it like a potpourri pot or something. It's the same fucking thing. And she either let the water boil out completely to where it was dry, or she just forgot. But she went to go work out with this simmer pot on the stove, and it caught on fire. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down there. Slow down there. I need to do some fact checking. She didn't cause a fire, but she could have caused a fire. And I just wanted to let you know that I was incorrect. There were no flames, although Brittany Dawn said there was smoke everywhere. But I just wanted to point out that she forgot something on the stove and she went to work out. And this could have been a huge accident, but it wasn't. So, just clearing the air there. And, you know, I'm not trying to be like, you should never talk about your hardships, but like, Brittany Dawn, you shouldn't even be online right now. I thought you were canceled. I thought you were taking a social media break. And in case I didn't come across, like, obviously, if, you know, there are good foster parents that support these kids and actually, you know, improve their life, I don't necessarily think that's what Brittany Dawn is doing. So anyway, the thing with her lawsuit, I know we were all excited for there to be some sort of juicy trial. There was a couple of like hearings about it that were actually on YouTube Live. I guess there are some courthouses that will broadcast those things, which is confusing to me because I'm like, half the time you can't even bring a camera in there. So you guys are broadcasting these Zoom hearings. I just thought that was weird. I remember I hopped in one and people were getting mad. They were like, you need to treat this like a real court of law. I'm like, they're not reading it. The judge is not reading these YouTube comments, but I also understand, you know, we live in a society and we have to act appropriately. But there were no mods in that chat. Let me just say.
As of April 25th, so a little over a month ago. Yeah. So after a 9-hour mediation, we came to a settlement agreement of $531,000. Is there any change in there? Any pennies that I missed?
There is. The important part of the settlement is that the $131,000 and some change is attorney's fees for the state of Texas Attorney General's office.
Yeah.
$400,000 of that is what we owe and what we are going to pay back. $100,000 of that is restitution for the clients that didn't receive their packages, and $300,000 of that is what are called civil penalties, which are basically, that's the penalty for not doing things correctly.
Yeah, that's the AKA the hard lesson learned.
The hard lesson learned. Yeah. So $100,000 of that will go back to clients who didn't receive a program over the course of time.
Yeah.
So that's the breakdown of the settlement.
Okay, first of all, I want to make fun of the hoodie that Jordan is wearing. It's from this group called Shadow Band Social Club. Okay, dude.
Last time I checked, you can't settle a criminal charge outside of court.
No.
When you're charged with a crime, you go before a jury. You are either found guilty or not guilty of a criminal charge that then imposes a sentence. That can be decided by the jury. That can be decided by the judge at any point from 2019. This was never a criminal case. This was always a civil penalty about the business.
She was supposed to go to trial, and right before the trial was set, they actually settled out of court.
And I didn't realize at such a young age that you can entrust those tasks to other people. I didn't realize that I could ask for help. I didn't realize that I could hire on a team. I didn't realize that those things were part of growth in a business, and I do now. It's a very hard lesson to learn.
Girl, you have to fucking, like, you then stop accepting their money. Send out a mass email. Make a video saying that you need some help. Like, okay, I get it. You feel bad about it and you're trying to make excuses. That doesn't matter at this point. The people have already been scammed. They would like their money back. You kept accepting their money. That is the problem. If you couldn't fulfill the service, stop accepting the money.
And that was genuinely what happened to me. I was young. I was a pre-vet student, like animal science degree.
Okay, well, I guess anything can be true when you're lying.
I was 23. Yeah, I was 23 in 2013. So I was a baby.
It's literally the meme on TikTok. I'm a 23-year-old teenage girl.
I am a teenage girl, only 23 years old. I am not perfect.
So in 2019, there was a prank video that was put on YouTube by someone with a platform, a pretty large platform, and that person portrayed themselves as a father of a client of Brittany's. They flew out to LA, where she was the face of a booth for the LA Fit Expo, and that person approached her and caught her off guard and accused her of scamming his daughter.
So the expo, when this prank happened, first of all, I was completely caught off guard. My dad has always taught me that if you don't know what to say in the heat of a moment, it's better to not say anything than to say something you'll regret.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. That prank video that she's talking about, I have seen, and it is very cringe. Like, these people approach her and, like, while she's in the middle of something, and it's super fucking awkward, and, like, she needs to be held accountable. However, I do see where she's coming from, and I think that would be terrifying if a grown man approached her like that.
You look familiar.
Yeah?
You look like you stole my daughter's money.
Are you kidding me?
I ain't kidding you. Yep, you took $200. Hey, this woman took $200 from my daughter.
I'm gonna ask you later.
Can I get my money back before I file a complaint on her? It ain't nothing with you, but the fact that she stole $200 from my daughter from her fitness plan, blocked her on Instagram,
I'm gonna need you to step
and while
out of
she
my
hiding
booth.
back there, she can't handle it.
I'm gonna need you to step out of the booth.
All right, sir, because I'm about to call the police if I don't get my $200 back.
Hey, I'm gonna call the police if you don't step out of my fucking booth.
Well, I better get my money back. I want to talk to her.
Well, you're not gonna talk to her.
Why do you got a problem with me? It's okay
Because
to steal
you're in
money?
my booth
Sir,
harassing
you need to
people.
calm down. Get a dip. You get a dip, sir. Come on down. Well, just talk to her real quick. I gotta calm down, sir. I gotta calm down.
Hey, Ryan.
You see that? She stole my daughter's money, and she ain't gonna give it back. You see that?
But seriously, for
see
security,
that?
get this fucking asshole out of here.
I ain't an asshole, sir. You're an asshole for fucking standing up for her.
You guys are spilling tobacco on my fucking...
This is the U.S. of A. That's a goddamn American soil right here.
He's harassing Brittany.
I'll see her in court. That's right. This for all the girls she stole money from. You look like a Cheeto.
Anything could have happened. Like, I can see why she would be scared. I really can. And I don't approve that that guy went up to her and talked to her like that and made a video about it. It's, like, weird. I get why they did it. I just don't, that's not something I would do. And maybe that guy could have sent an email. I don't know. It's complicated. That's the thing with Brittany Dawn. Like, I think there's like a little shred of truth with a lot of the things she's saying, but it's so hard to believe her because of how many times she has lied or how many times she's exaggerated about shit, or like, I don't know. I want to be a good person. I want to be empathetic to, you know, her cause, but at the same time, I'm also like standing here on the outside and seeing all the people she's hurt.
I was scrambling behind the scenes to refund women that didn't get what they paid for, even people who, I don't even know how to say this, like there were people who were photoshopping receipts who were never paid clients of mine, who saw the viral video and then Good Morning America, that never knew who I was previous to all this media and all the spotlight attention, and suddenly they were photoshopping receipts and I was refunding them because I believed them.
This one I have a little bit of a concern with. I don't think that people were photoshopping receipts, although that is plausible. That is something that somebody could theoretically do, but I feel like that would not hold up in a court of law. I feel like if you were like, see, I have these thousands of photoshopped receipts, I feel like somebody, you know, involved with this trial could, you know, easily see that they were photoshopped, or see that, you know, it didn't line up with the invoices, which, who am I kidding? She probably did not make any invoices. But like, you know, there would be ways to prove that the people who were claiming to have received your services, or people who claimed to pay you and didn't get services, made this up. I feel like there would be a way to prove that. So maybe one person photoshopped a receipt, but I don't think that was necessary because you did scam thousands of people. I feel like it's more likely that those receipts were real.
Someone started a petition called Stop Brittany Dawn Fitness Scams. And to give you guys context as to the cancel culture mentality, the bandwagon mentality behind this, 15,950 people signed that petition. That was like as of last week. I checked. I had...
It's still going?
Apparently. I had a little... I know, it's ridiculous. I had a little over 5,000 clients. So that is 2/3 of people who never worked with me, who probably didn't even know who I was before this. And that is why, ultimately, the state of Texas opened up a lawsuit.
Yes, Brittany, more people signed the change.org petition than were scammed by you. The petition wasn't, everybody who's been scammed, sign here. It was petition to stop Brittany Dawn from continuing these scams. Anybody could sign it. In fact, it was good that a lot more people signed it than were scammed, because then that actually got the attention of the Attorney General, who, by the way, did get fired for corruption. And that has nothing to do with Brittany Dawn. It's just a fun coincidence, because everything's bigger in Texas, apparently.
Didn't scam anyone. I didn't fraud anyone. I'm not a scammer. I'm not a fraud. I'm not a grifter. And I'm done tolerating being called that by people online, by news headlines, by articles, by other YouTubers, by other people on TikTok who are really just ultimately chasing this story for clout. Because at this point, it's become a clickbait title.
That's true, Brittany. I am using you for clout. That's why I put a sponsor on this video. And I don't feel bad about it whatsoever, because you are a horrible person. So that's the lawsuit that was settled in April of this year. Went on for about 4 years. Pretty sure she had already been sued, or like it was the beginnings of the lawsuit when I started covering her back in, I don't know, 1736. It's been a long time. So yeah, she owes a bunch of money. That sucks. If she's a millionaire like she's kind of alluding to, I think she'll be fine. Then finally, we're going to wrap things up with this video called The Truth to How My Dog Died. Jordan's past as a police officer, stalked and harassed. So, you know, some lighthearted content.
We've encountered a lot of spiritual warfare leading up to this, leading up to just the series in general. Cameras messing up, things not being recorded when we thought they were being recorded. Everything that could possibly go wrong from a technical perspective on my end has been going wrong.
Okay, right off the bat, she's talking about spiritual warfare prevented her from filming this video, which is so funny because, like, I had some fucking spiritual warfare today. Me and James filmed that Scentbird ad fully. Took a whole hour, didn't record a single thing. The camera was on. It said record, nothing got recorded. That could have been demons.
And I know it's not the Lord, because I very, very, very much so know that the Lord released me to do this series. So it's the enemy working overtime.
That's so funny that you just talked to God and he cleared you for the series, because I just got off the phone with God and he said, stream Semler. He also said something about ACAB.
Without being able to tell my side of the story or share any of the details or even put them in contact with anyone that was involved in the situation, I was ceremoniously fired from my job. I was able to get enough information out of them. Was able to glean enough information out of the HR department that it was, in fact, that someone had made them aware of my situation, my lawsuit, which was civil, definitely not criminal. Just because there are lots and lots of trolls out there. I'm not going to share what I do now for work, but whoever called my HR department for my previous company, I want to say thank you, because you gave Brittany and I the biggest blessing you could have ever given us.
Jordan's talking about how he got this new job and he was immediately fired. And he's like, you know, I know it was because some hater called and told him about my past. Sure, that might have happened. It's probably more likely that the person Googled your name and saw that you also had a lawsuit for beating an innocent man almost to death. All right, just hopping on here to, again, correct what I said. I am not the type to support the police, and I'm not trying to, paint this man in a good light, but at least according to this lawsuit, Jordan was not trying to beat this man to death, as I was saying. Now, I believe that any amount of police brutality is too much, so he did knock a man to the ground. He hit his head on the concrete, and then you see this dog pile of cops on top of this man. I do believe that Jordan is violent, and he has the capability to make, decisions that could lead to somebody dying. The fact that he even tried to justify this amount of violence is a red flag.
I made an arrest of a gentleman trying to break into a little old lady's house, and he was high on drugs, didn't listen to the verbal commands that I gave him. He was taken into custody in a way that we were taught in the academy.
You followed standard protocol.
Yep.
Yeah, the powers that be had no problem with it. Yeah, I bet they didn't. Police officers aren't really known for their, kindness and rationale. Poison rationality.
Yeah. And at the time it was reviewed, the police department and the powers that be had no issue with it. But after the fact, he filed a lawsuit against me. And after I had left the police department, that's another thing that the trolls on the internet just love to throw up. I wasn't fired. No. I left in 2016. I wasn't sued until 2018. If anyone doesn't believe that, it's all public record.
Or did the police force, make you resign so that they didn't look bad? So I actually didn't have a on-camera segue for this next section, and I think honestly it was so traumatizing that I just blanked it out of my memory. But in this video, Jordan and Brittany discuss what happened with Brody, aka the dog got hit by a car and then Jordan shot it to put it out of its misery. Their words, not mine. And this was a huge controversy at the time, and just a little heads up, they're going to be talking graphically about Brody's injuries. So be prepared.
And I'm here to clear the air. Yes, my dog was on the verge of death and suffering, and I took my own gun to put him out of his misery.
His skull was completely crushed in, and there was brain matter on the road. His eye was popped out of its socket.
He wasn't quite dead.
He was still moving.
Yeah.
He was not there. I don't think he realized what was happening, but he was still moving and he was still feeling things. He was still in pain. And there's no way that we could have scraped him up off the concrete and taken him to the vet.
My immediate thought was I took Brittany inside because I didn't want her to have to see him anymore. Actually pulled you away from him.
I was screaming, at that point.
Got her inside, asked her to just stay here and let me see what can be done. By that time, a couple of our neighbors, wonderful men, they had come down and one had pulled his truck. He said, "Hey, do you have do you have your gun or do you need me to get mine? And I said, no, I have mine. And he goes, it's going to be the best thing to do. And I agree. For the animal lovers out there, it makes no sense
To let your dog suffer.
yeah, it is someone. I would challenge anyone who says that we didn't make the right decision. Do you really love animals? Because when an animal is writhing in pain and has had such a traumatic injury such as Brody's, it's more inhumane to let them suffer.
There was no saving him.
No.
There was no saving him.
Yeah, none of us love animals as much as you do, buddy. But I just don't think it's ever appropriate to discharge a firearm in the middle of a suburban street. I just can't help but think that you could have called the vet. Even if they told you not to bring Brody out or whatever, maybe they could have brought him some pain meds. I don't know. And, obviously I wasn't there, and I've never had a dog get hit by a car, and God forbid I ever do. But I just think that this situation could have been handled differently.
To this date, these people have gotten multiple six figures worth of contracts canceled. They have nearly destroyed my income from that avenue, because praise the Lord, I have multiple streams of income. Also, some of which no one will ever know about. No one will ever know about those. But from this arena, they have canceled multiple six figures worth of contracts, and it has affected my income. It has affected my livelihood, my career. The way that these people will just, I'm struggling.
Can we help you?
Yeah.
And I think we touched on this in the previous video and podcast. There are ways. We know who you are. Let's just leave it at that. We know the trolls that reach out to companies, even with a fake email address. We know who you are.
Everything is traceable.
We are going to, now that we have moved past the things that we needed to handle, we are going to systematically go after every single one of those. It is illegal in the state of Texas to interject yourself as a third party into a contract.
So I looked it up, and there kind of is a law that falls into the realm of what they're talking about in Texas about not interfering with a contract, but it's also would be really far out on a limb for them to actually qualify for it, because you also have to remember right to work, which is a law that basically says that an employer can fire you for whatever the fuck they want. Now, they're talking about contracts and not, his job, but I just thought it was interesting because I don't know, yeah, that sucks that you lost those contracts, but you'd have to prove that the things people were saying about you weren't true, and also, you'd have to get over the fact that the sponsor can technically cancel for whatever fucking reason. Now, I guess it's upsetting if you already did the work and they didn't pay you for it, but I don't think that's what happened. I think contracts were canceled. I don't know, it just seems like extraneous litigious bullshit to me. This, I can see why they're mad, but also you did the thing. Use police brutality on an unarmed black man, and you really did scam a bunch of people. I obviously don't condone people contacting her sponsors, but people are going to do whatever the fuck they want, regardless of how much I lecture them. They're going to take it into their own hands. And as much as that is irritating to me, I do believe that people do it out of a good place. Right? So I know why they're contacting CPS. They care about these children, and they know that Brittany is negligent, and they know that her husband is violent. They're doing it because they care, and they so desperately don't want to feel powerless, and they want to feel like they can do something to stop this. But I just don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know. It's a lot to handle. She's really problematic figure. I don't know. I think that there are people that go too far with harassing her, but at the same time, that's such a small amount of people that are holding her accountable are the harassers. I don't condone that. Please, for the love of God, do not contact her. Do not harass her. Do not call CPS on her. Do not call these people's employers. It only makes things worse, and it can give her an alibi. I think most people are reasonable when it comes to these situations. And I know sometimes you all probably feel like we're preaching to the choir, or we're lecturing you about how to live your life, how to interact with these fundies. And that's really not what it is. It's that when you have a large platform, you have to be very fucking careful with the shit that you say, very careful with the things that you condone, very careful with how you approach these subjects. And I say that because I have a large platform, and so does Brittany Dawn. I feel like they finally are facing consequences. Now, I don't know why or how that came to be. It's about damn time. Like, you cannot scam hardworking people out of their money. You cannot promise shit to them and sell them a service that you do not provide. There were men and women with eating disorders who she sold these ill-advised plans that, you know, encouraged them to restrict and over-exercise. And then she wouldn't help them when they ran into problems. And that is not okay, and she has to face consequences. Somehow, and I'm sorry, Jordan, I don't think you get to live a normal life anymore. What you did was disgusting and inhumane and vile and sadistic, and I do believe that he is racist for doing that. And these are just the adults that Brittany and Jordan have fucked over. This is not to mention the countless animals that they have neglected and straight up killed, and not to mention the foster children who I surely hope that they are in a better place now. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. You know, the only silver lining is she's probably gonna keep doing dumb shit, and I'm gonna keep making videos about it. And you guys are gonna watch it and love it, and we're all gonna have a great time. Brittany, if you've actually watched this video, please fucking listen to me and just stop. Take an actual break. Not a 3-week break. Take like a year off of YouTube. It seems like you have enough shit to do that you could occupy your time. All right, guys, that was an interesting video, I like to think. Love you guys. I really, truly mean that when I say I love you guys. I am down in the dumps when I read my comments in my DMs. It reminds me why I do what I do. And it's for you guys, because you believe in me. You also give me money. And speaking of, if you want to give me money, I have Patreon and channel memberships. They do the same thing. You get behind the scenes videos, access to the Discord. There's even a merch discount floating around. It's just a really good way to show your support. And of course, if you don't want to give me money, which is perfectly reasonable, if you want to support the channel, consensually smash that like and subscribe button, share, tell a friend, go evangelize on behalf of the Jennonite Church. Would really appreciate it. Or you can just send your good vibes. I promise I feel them. So we do have merch. We've got this lovely King James Vacation Bible School of Rock t-shirt, and it's really funny, and it's got cute jokes on the back, and it features him in his outfits from the music video, which, by the way, if you haven't, please go watch Vacation Bible School of Rock. It is not performing very well, and I know that, like, I'm not trying to sound desperate, but, like, I really think it was suppressed because of all the copyrighted music. I don't think YouTube, like, pushed it into the algorithm, so it's kind of slacking, and I would just really appreciate it if you go watch it. If you're not interested in contemporary Christian music, you know, I get it, but, like, it's a Fundie Fridays episode. It's educational. It's funny. I mean, shit, the last one I made, we talk about 9/11 for, like, 20 minutes. It's a great time. Links in the description. I got all kinds of good shit. I would encourage you to go click on my link tree. I got articles, podcasts, everything you'd ever want on there. And I'll say it again. I'll say it every day. I will say it every minute of every hour if I have to, but I fucking love you guys. And I will see you very soon. And thank you to everybody on Reddit and YouTube and everybody that is in the community of Brittany Dawn haters, because I think we're all united under this one cause. For one little moment, we all held hands and rejoiced in shitting on Brittany Dawn. So I think that's beautiful. I'll see you guys later, and please drink some fucking water.
Which I know China's like a communist country. We don't want to like associate with that, you know. But my whole point is,
I'm proud of you.
yeah. But my whole point is.